So, there were a lot of releases this week. This one was spicy. This one by the queen herself, don't disrespect. But there was one that especially caught my attention. Dreamcatcher came back on January 26th with the song titled Odd Eye and the EP Dystopia Road to Utopia. This will be their 7th release as the group Dreamcatcher, and the song already has plenty of elements related to Dreamcatcher's music, although Odd Eye seems to lean more towards the side of Scream with the extra heavy rock influence. Now, I thought for a long time about what I should talk about with this release. I wanted to talk about Dreamcatcher and what it means to be popular. But the music video itself was rather interesting. It's been one of the few times that I felt the MV was meta in both its narrative, and it's one of the few times that I felt a group's lore and story goes beyond its diegetic universe. This is Dreamcatcher, and the road to success. It's been a long time sentiment within the K-pop fandom that Dreamcatcher was underrated, and for a long time the statement was true. They bring something new to the K-pop genre that I haven't seen from any other group. Recently, I think underrated doesn't really describe Dreamcatcher anymore. I mean, just look at these numbers. With the trajectory of Odd Eye, the song will at least garner the same level of attention Boca did. Dreamcatcher at this point can be described as steps away from mainstream stardom, but underrated is one word and therefore it's easier to use in a sentence, I guess. Dreamcatcher has been recognized and beloved by international fans. The reason they seem to be struggling, however, is because of domestic numbers. It doesn't matter how successful you are around the world. If you're not known in the place where you release and promote your music, your success will always be just short of what it can be. And this is proven to be true as Dreamcatcher has yet to receive any music show wins. Will this change with Odd Eye? I don't know, we'll see. We can dream, right? We can dream Getcha, right? Now, how does this all relate to the song itself? That would be a great question, and I wouldn't have the answer if it weren't for the final scene in the music video. This one still frame manages to tie together both the lore of Dreamcatcher with the real-world journey of the girl group itself. Allow me to explain. Let's start with the story of Dreamcatcher. The story itself is pretty extensive, so I'm gonna skim over some of the nitty-gritty details. But basically, the members are these girls that are trying to escape from these nightmares and fears that are chasing them and trying to take over. You know, the usual anime. At least until Piri, because starting from Scream, it appears the new saga has begun. One with the Tree of Language is what the album is called, but it's also fitting of the new narrative of Dreamcatcher. Starting from Scream, it appears that the story that Dreamcatcher is trying to tell is more metaphorical than it was previously. In past MVs, you could see that there was a visible and coherent plotline. From Scream onwards, however, the storytelling shifts more towards a meta-narrative, where there is still a traditional story with a plot told throughout the visuals and songwriting, but there's also an additional story that plays in the background, one that is told through the themes and symbolic motifs. It began in Scream, built on in Boca, and now revving up into full gear in Odd Eye. So what is this story? Well, like I said, this scene tells the new story of Dreamcatcher. The story of their journey to utopia, or in the real world, the journey to success. Success in this case is relative, as many of the accolades that are achieved by the group can brand them as a successful one. When I refer to success, I'm more talking about domestic success. Recognition and awards in Korea that would place them in the same tier as top K-pop groups. And this would be nice and all if the final scene didn't definitively say that Dreamcatcher failed to find utopia. I mean, that's it, right? They couldn't reach stardom, the end. I wouldn't question it if the album wasn't titled Road to Utopia. These two facts contradict each other. Something isn't adding up here. Which one is it? Are they on the path to utopia, or did they not find it? All of this wouldn't make sense if you take Odd Eye as the end of the Dystopia trilogy, and as the end of the whole story of Dreamcatcher. However, what if I said that Odd Eye wasn't the end of the story, but the end of the prologue? That the series Dystopia is just the setup that served the purpose of restarting anew and creating something that will accompany an entirely new Dreamcatcher. They've tried screaming, they've tried shutting everyone's mouths, and now they've tried covering their eyes. Nothing works. There's no more utopia. I believe that this is signaling that Dreamcatcher will evolve in some way, maybe change their music, their style, or their concept. The point is that the path to success, the path to utopia, the place that they're looking for isn't this one, and it's time to find the real path. The real road to success.